Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to cover Kill Team Brutal and Cunning, as it was fully revealed at Warhammer Day. We're also going to touch on all the other Warhammer Day news. So, happy Warhammer Day, the totally made-up corporate holiday. Warcom's down, so this might all genuinely be news to you, unless you follow Games Workshop on, like, Facebook. But there's nobody on Facebook anymore except for your mum, so, yeah. I've had a great Warhammer Day. I've been off to Games Workshop, ordered 2 of the Warhammer Day model, one for me, one for Mrs. TI, picked up a few paints, taken over 60 quid, picked up the Kill Team coin, came home. Hours after we got home, Hivestorm arrived, and I've been diligently building my Kill Team Vulcus and designing a new tray for my Warganizer to fit all the new widgets so I can go off and play Kill Team with Zimbad tomorrow in style. Of course, I made time to watch the live stream, and then I was waiting to see where the Warcom article was, because we always get more information and more pictures on the Warcom article. Alas, it was not to be, so I've had to make do with what I could find on the various Games Workshop social media feeds. We're going to start talking about the Ratlings, so I'm going to need to look at the screen, I think. So, we got some information in the stream. So this is our leader here with the beret and the mug of tea. This guy's called a Big Shot. Now, he has what's been described as a tank stopper rifle. Okay. And then we've got the Battle Mutt. He interacts with the faction rule. So the faction rule is called Scarper. And it is about being able to run away when you're charged, as far as I could tell. They didn't really go into mechanical detail on that one. Is Scarper a word that Americans recognise? It feels like a very British word. Anyway, it means run off. Yeah. So, then I've kind of had to have a guess at what the other guys are doing. So this is clearly some kind of demo guy. He looks like he's got a mine or an explosives pack and a way of touching it off. He also seems to come with a couple of tripwires that he can lay down. Hopefully those are actually what you use in game and they're actually useful and we don't have to use cardboard tokens instead. That will kind of upset me. We've got somebody here that looks like reminds me of the lugger from the Votan, right? So presumably he maybe lets you take an extra piece of equipment, maybe he gives some kind of buff to nearby Ratlings. I'm assuming maybe he drops down this marker. That marker seems like it might go along with the lugger, and it's not really put near him, but maybe it is. Maybe it goes with this guy that I've called the Ninja. The Ninja obviously has a grappling hook, very reminiscent of Ryan and Rouse in the Blackstone Fortress game, right? So he'll be obviously climbing for free, potentially, or for 1 inch. Pretty cool. Then we've got, now these 3 could just be characterful sculpts for like your 3 basic guys, but we've got, this guy's got a monocular, so some kind of spotter. This guy's got a knife, maybe he uses it. Maybe he's a Rattling combat specialist, who can say. This fellow obviously has some kind, it's a directional microphone is what it is, right? He's listening out for people. Maybe this is going to have the Auspex style ability, so removing conceal. Maybe he's going to have a longer range than just 8, who knows. This guy looks like he might be more concealed. He's got a camo cloak potentially, so potentially he's got that going down. And this guy has a hat. Maybe a veteran. Does he have little darts? Does he have like sleepy time darts? I don't know. But yeah, they're really characterful models, and they've added a lot of individuality to what really could have felt like a squad of snipers for Warhammer 40k. So that's really cool, and they look really present in Vulcus as well. They've got the same kind of city fight vibe. They really do feel designed for Kill Team. So I was a little bit apprehensive because it's like, oh yes, this is clearly a kit they need to do for 40k, but they do feel very Kill Team-y to me, which is nice. It's going to be interesting to have a team load of snipers. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them all seem, and plus he's got one on his back, and he's got one on his back, so he's got one on his back, so they all really seem to have a sniper rifle. Are they all going to have silent weapons? Surely not. Now, it's really interesting. This sort of team, I think, would be absolutely awful in the previous edition of Kill Team, where really you wanted to run up the board and get stuck in and get that middle objective and get contesting and be scoring your points. This is the first team we've seen that looks really designed to, like, I'm going to sit in the deployment zone. Obviously, some of them are going to move forward. You've got your ninja warrior there, right? But it does look like a team that really wants to, is going to be tempted to kind of get into position and castle up and shoot you and make your life hell. Can you win playing like that? Is there more to them? Like, it's a really weird pick, I think. I don't know. Interesting. Then we got the Orcs, the Wrecker crew. They are tank busters. They're not called tank busters, but they are tank busters. So we named the Knob. He's the Knob. He's got the... We've seen this drill on the rumour engine recently, right? We've got a fella called the Crusher. The Crusher seems to have some kind of knockback mechanic. I've written Breaker Boy there. Is he a Breaker Boy or a Crusher? Anyway, he seems to have some kind of knockback mechanic where he can push people back when he fights them in combat and even push them off ledges and off objectives and stuff, so that sounds cool. Tank Hammer. Apparently he can choose whether his hammer explodes, hurting himself and others, or not when he hits people with it. We seem to have a guy with a common or garden variety hammer. This guy just appears to be a tank buster, and this guy is presumably a gunner with a double tank buster. So it's a really interesting team because it is an elite orc team, right? It's 6 models. They were called out as having a 4-up save. Are they going to be 3 APL? Don't know. Be interesting. I mean, it's okay. It's 8 models. You got 2 bomb squigs, but the bomb squigs really count, right? Really cool to see their rules. Really interesting design space in Kill Team that they're opening up. I think people that play Commandos because they love Orcs are going to love these because they are very orky. I think people that love Commandos because they love the way Commandos play, like the way that you got 10 guys, they got 10 wounds. This is obviously a very different thing to that. So your nearest, if you're looking in a year's time, your nearest rules analog, if you want a classified Commandos team, is probably Space Marine Scouts. But your nearest theme analog, these are obviously really, really orky. So if you're an Orc fan who likes Orcs because of their aesthetic and their lore, you should love these miniatures. I think they look brilliant. I'm not a big Orc fan, but I certainly look at these and go, yeah, those are some really cool Orcs. Like, if I was gonna like any Orcs, it'd be these Orcs. These are the cool. These are so much cooler. Like the last new Orcs they did were like the Beast Saga boys, and I just couldn't give even the tiniest shiny piece of excrement. But these guys are pretty cool. So yeah. And then we got the Compound. So the format for the boxes for this season seems to be that we're getting, I think, a pretty significant terrain piece. Like, it's not a little wimpy terrain piece like we sometimes used to get in season 3. It looks pretty significant, and it looks to me, the way they've shown it here as 4 sections, it looks to me like it's probably designed to be modular. So you'd keep it like this in these 4 pieces, and then I'm guessing that these bits here will be used to clip the walls together. So you can make like one long line to bisect the kill zone, or you could make a bunker with 4 walls. Presumably you can finagle it into being a corner piece. Interesting piece to run. I think really cool. Apparently the narrative missions involve the Orcs attacking and the Ratlings defending, so you got some siege warfare style missions going on. It's probably not going to be used in competitive play, so if you only really care about playing Kill Team with approved ops and all that jazz, you could probably skip this box unless you like the teams. But it looks like a really fun piece of terrain. So that's cool, and that is cool. I'm not sure what these 3 boxes really add to anything though, because what rules are they going to have? They're just, unless presumably in the narrative missions they each do something, right? That's got to be the point of them. So what do we think Kill Team is? It's a Kill Team channel, after all. Personally, I feel really overwhelmed in a weird sort of way. Like, so much information dropped around launch. I don't know the state of the game. I don't know what all the teams do. I'm going to go and play my first game of the Coronation of Kill Team tomorrow. With my Night Lords. I know what they do. I don't even know if Zimbad's running his Angels of Death. I've got an idea of what they do ish. I did a rundown on them. If he's going to play something else, I don't even know what half the teams in the game do yet, because I haven't digested all of the rules that we have. So getting 2 new teams to speculate about, it's awesome, but it's a lot. It is a lot. I'm kind of on the fence about this box. I think if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I'd skip the box. The teams, I don't despise them, but they don't sing out to me as being something awesome that I want to collect. But I could see, like, if I was challenged to paint either of them, if we did another, like, community nomination, I wouldn't hate hobbying on either of them. And I think that modular terrain piece looks really interesting. Probably not useful for me as a kill teamer, but if I'm interested in building up a board of Volcus type terrain for 40k, 30k, it's a cool piece to have. Yeah, it's going to depend. A lot of this is actually, I think what I'm coming to is it's that rare thing. I'm quite price sensitive when it comes to this release. So we'll see what the price point lands at. Because, yeah, the teams don't scream at me as something. Obviously, the rules could change that for some people. I'm not really one to collect a team that doesn't really appeal to me just because it has decent rules, but maybe. It is nice to know the format of the boxes for this year, though. It's nice to know a number of things that have been confirmed. So Valrak had been saying, that we were going to get 2 new teams that were both brand new sculpts, and that's going forwards. That seems to be what we can expect. So I would expect in 2025 this box and then 2 more boxes. So 4 more hitherto unknown brand new teams, each with a substantial terrain piece that meshes in with Kill Team Volcus, but probably, it'll be great to see the book and stuff. Probably that terrain piece isn't going to be used in competitive games. I think that's cool and understandable. Yeah. So other news, we're done with Kill Team. There's a new edition of Underworlds that they previewed. Actually think this looks pretty cool in a way. So Underworld is relaunching with a brand new edition, more enjoyable and more accessible. It's going to have 2 formats, a pre-build format and a deck building format. This is a total reset, so set fire to all your Underworld's cards. They're pointless now, which for me as someone that's been kind of bounced off Underworlds a couple of times is great. If you love Underworlds, then you're probably quite sad that that's happened. It's up to you. 1 board now instead of 2 boards, so no longer have to get 2 boards and push them together. It's just 1 board that everybody's going to be on. Teams and decks are assigned an archetype, so all the different teams and all the different decks are going to have either strike if they are basically killy teams, take and hold if they want to be capturing objectives, flex if they want to be a mixture of killing and taking objectives, and mastery if they're one of these tricky teams that does something special and weird and teleports around or other shenanigans, right? So you've got your 4 decks in the box: 1 strike deck, 1 take and hold deck, 1 flex deck, 1 mastery deck, and you can match any of those to the teams. You don't have to match archetypes, so Ember Guard, the Ember Watch and the Zikrit's Tunnel Pack also have an archetype, but you don't have to match the Ember Watch's archetype to the deck's archetype. You can mix, Nick was very clear about this, you can mix that to mix and match as you will. So a weird thing they said was only teams sold on Warhammer.com will be legal going forwards in competitive play. So does that mean that some of the Underworld teams not currently sold on Warhammer.com might be coming back? Because there's some really cool sets of models there that are currently unavailable. Or, is it a positive thing? Or does it literally mean, no, we're only going to come up with rules for the teams that happen to be on Warhammer.com today? So I just had a quick look on Warhammer.com. The only Underworlds team still on sale are some Savage Orc looking things called Dagox Stablads. Now, assumedly that therefore means that some more teams will be coming back on sale in the fullness of time. I don't want to turn this into an Underworlds video. I could have done this and I didn't. If you go and look at the trailer for this, they show various teams as they're going through. So I'm guessing, that more modern teams will probably have survived and come through. Was your favourite team going to survive? I don't know. It'd be interesting going forwards to see if they put any cards whatsoever in the team box. I kind of hope no. Right? So if you can get into this game and you buy presumably like one box a quarter, and the box has 4 decks in, and you can use those as sealed decks with any team of your choice, or you can have that as a pool of cards and build a deck out of them if that's what you really want to do. That seems quite nice and accessible. If they start releasing packs of teams where the team also has more cards in, then they'll lose that. But I'm I'm pretty close to saying I'm going to pick up Emberguard to give it a go. If I bounce off it again, I bounce off it again. But the other nice thing is, Underworld sets historically have always been priced to sell. So if it's priced quite cheaply again, yeah, I don't really care for them. It just maybe Mrs. Tiao want to do the Ember Watch. She quite likes Stormcast Eternals. But just for the 4 decks, the rules, the board, all that stuff, and then I'll use one of the Death Warbands. I've got all the Death Warbands for presumably one of the Soulblight Gravelord theme. If none of the Soulblight Gravelord theme Warbands are in the game, then I won't be picking it up. But presumably one of them will be, right? Yeah, there we go. Then they showed off this holiday season model. So they call it holiday season because an English company. They've clearly done this to appeal to the Americans for Thanksgiving, right? Because they had lots of sort of fall, and it was supposed to be autumnal, but like the Americans are really big on the oak leaf symbology. It's, as a Brit, it just vibed. It's clearly a Thanksgiving thing, and that's fine. It's cool. It's interesting to see them. The only reason I mention it really, it's interesting to see what is an English company going, oh, we're going to, could they do a Chinese New Year model in the future, for example? And obviously available to everybody. I'm not saying exclusive to that region. Obviously, this will be on sale in the UK and everything else. But it's interesting to see them picking up on some holidays that aren't celebrated in the UK, which is, it's cool. This is where a lot of stuff that we thought was going to be Ratling themed equipment for Kill Team is actually from the base of this miniature. So that is what it is. It doesn't do a lot for me. It's not one that I'm going to go busting a gut to pick up, actually, to be fair. Now, there are apparently some narrative Kill Team rules for this in the new Kill Team box that's coming up. Like, I don't know whether that's an extra operative for the Ratlings or basically an objective or something like that. But yeah, am I just old and hate fun? Like, I look at this and I go, yeah, that's cute, but I've got sort of zero desire to build a pen. It's the same with their Christmas models increasingly, where it's like really Christmassy and really fun, and it's like, yeah, I want a cool, powerful looking thing that works in game. I don't want to sort of. I think I'm just getting old, guys. And they do plenty of models that appeal to me as well. So they can do the odd silly fun one. I just don't. Personally, it's like, I appreciate the painting though. Look at this bottle of fizz. That's amazing. And look at the apple with the shine on it, and the I mean, it's a fantastically, and the gravy and the freehand on the mug, fantastically, and the browning on the chicken. Like, this is painted better than a lot of and the sausages. Look at it's painted better than a lot of the things the Heavy Metal team do. So there is that. Like, it's actually painted better, I think, than the average box art, which is already a really high standard. So that's cool. In 40k, we're getting Emperor's Children in 2025. They didn't really say anything else. They did say the next preview is in November at Worlds, so maybe we'll see the Emperor's Children then. I play Emperor's Children in 30k, or I collect an Emperor's Children army for 30k. Hopefully I'll play them some more before the edition ends. I have played a few games of this edition of 30k, I think. Fact check myself. At least played some Zone Mortalis of this edition of 30k, so that's okay. But yeah, so I'm not going to start another 40k army. I'm sticking to my one army for each of the big systems. Right, one army, so 4 big Grand Armies for the 4 big Games Workshop Grand Army games and no more than that. But if they did a kill team, yeah, I've got a soft spot for Emperor's Children. A Noise Marine kill team, 6 Noise Marines running around the battle would be amazing. Please, Games Workshop, let's have a team with, one of them can be the leader with a combat weapon, and one can have a Doom Siren. Just give us a 6-man Noise Marine squad. It's perfect because 6 is both the number of an elite squad of a kill team, and it's also like Emperor's Children are the one army where it makes lore lore accurate for them to be fielded in squads of 6. Just give us 6 guys. It'd be amazing. Could totally see it as well. Need a couple of gunners, right? And a couple of weirdos that they make up, like maybe like a medic-y like guy, like a sort of mini Fabius. That'd be awesome. Do that. Do that. Right, they announced the battle forces. Some people got absolutely mad for the battle forces. I don't know whether it's just because I have too much money. When I want something for a Games Workshop, I generally just buy it. So therefore, it's a battle force with a load of old stuff in. It's like, well, if I wanted it, I'd buy it. I'm not going to buy it now because it's cheaper. And you're not going to take me to start a new army because I don't do that anymore. Each of these is themed around the a particular detachment in their respective game, right? So that's pretty cool. I think it's interesting they did an Imperial Knights box. Obviously, depending on the price point, some of these, like the Imperial Knights box, I imagine will sell because Armigers are great. And you can use them as allies in a bunch of different armies. Or you could buy 2 of those boxes and just have an army, pretty much. But yeah, I can't get excited about Christmas box sets. But I know some people on other places on the internet like, yeah, Christmas box sets. Cool, guys. They're going to sell out in about 2 minutes. Like, your odds of getting one of these from a discounter are very, very slim. Because the discounter will be sent 4. And then you've got to work out, is the discount that you're going to get buying at RRP better than the discount that you get buying all the stuff in the box from a discounter that does 15 or 20% like Element Games? And then, do you actually want everything in the box, if we're being honest? Because there's usually, like, I'm looking at the Sisters box and I'm like, who are these people that need 2 more rhinos? Rhinos each open a cupboard in my house and rhinos fall out, you know, so yeah, sure. But if you love them, they're there. Cool. Slaves to Darkness comes at Age of Sigmar. It's funny for a Chaos themed preview where they heavily themed it around Chaos. Let me just see here. So far the only I guess the Emperor's Children are Chaos, right? But this was the only actual new Chaos miniature shown off. I guess the Skaven for Underworlds because Skaven are part of Chaos now. But I'm again old and confused, so. You know, of all the things where I'm going to dig my heels in and be like, no, things were better when I was a lad. Like, most of the time when people do that, it's vaguely toxic. But if I'm going to do that, it's going to be that Skaven aren't part of Chaos. That seems like a benign little place where I can just cling on to something from my youth to make me still feel relevant, you know. Not a massive amount to say here. That it's one of these standard Games Workshop releases where they got a new book. They got a spearhead full of existing miniatures. They did say that the old spearhead, the one that's still like Warriors of Chaos themed, will remain legal for spearhead. So that is cool for spearheads, as in fans of the spearhead mode. But I want to play some spearhead. I tried to persuade Zimbad we should play some spearhead in the fallow period between like while we were waiting for the new version of Kill Team to come out. And he's like, I can't be bothered bringing a whole spearhead to work and taking it to your house, Phil. And I'm like, okay, well. Fine. This miniature's... Okay, the miniature's perfectly good. I'm going to compare it to Inquisitor Cotias for a hot minute, which seems unfair, but bear with me. He is a lamer version of the Warhammer Day model, right? Just as Inquisitor Cotias was a much lamer version of the Warhammer Plus Inquisitor. Like, they keep doing this. The second time in a row they've done this now, where they release 2 models, and there's the one for ordinary scum, right, and then there's the one that's going to be a cool limited edition one-day affair, and then it's the same thing, and the limited edition one's much better. Like, alright, that doesn't make me feel great. That said, if this was released on its own, not compared with, without the comparison to be drawn to the Warhammer Day miniature, it's pretty. It's cool. I like the armor and the robes. Like, it's the first time they've really got that look to really work for me. That's cool. Hate this head. Definitely this head. Would rather there was a nice bear, like, shouting head. I'm sure if you played Slaves to Darkness, you could find an alternative head without horns on it. Which staff do I don't really like either of the staffs that much. This one would be cool if it didn't have the stupid fetishes on the bottom here. I don't really like these bits. But this one needs a skull. So, yeah. Fine. I just feel like I'd be disappointed. If I was even a Slaves to Darkness player, I do play Warriors of Chaos in the Old World, or collect them. And I'm glad that I've got other sorcerers. Yeah. Legion Imperialists, as I've written. Imperialists. Legion Imperialists. Obviously, the big thing they wanted to show off was the Mechanicum Battle Box. That was spoiled online, so then they spoiled it on Warcom. So the only thing they had to show off was this one miniature, which is a Cerberus Heavy Stalkers. Apparently they're going to come in a box of 4. It's the first unit for the Dark Mechanicum. They seem to be implying that the Dark Mechanicum could use Mechanicum stuff. Like, just paint it black, which, I don't know, like, it's cool to see Dark Mechanicum. People keep asking for the Dark Mechanicum. I'd just rather see them in Kill Team, or 40k, you know, or more representation in Horus Heresy, but it's in tiny dudes. So, at least, this is quite for tiny dudes, so maybe it'll come out for Heresy, but then I don't really care about a big tank. I want to see some cool infantry. I don't know. It exists, and it'll make some people very happy. They should do a model of Calbor Hal. Like, that would be awesome. Like a 30k scale, not Legion Imperialis, like a proper scale resin Calbor Hal to rival the Primarchs. Like, for those who don't know, Calbor Hal's the Fabricator General who is among the elements of the Mechanicum that Horus persuades to come over to him and essentially worship chaos in exchange for forbidden technology, right? Cool dude. That's what we should do. Not this. Just don't release this little thing. If you want to launch Star Mechanicum, and I only have modest demands, I think you should make a fantastically expensive to develop resin Calbor Hal, which, by the way, I'm not going to buy. But I just want it to exist in the world. There we go. And that brings us to the end. So I've updated the preview spreadsheet. We got 3 things languishing in the no date given column: Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, Underworld's Emberguard, and of course now Kill Team Brutal and Cunning as well. Of the things that we were promised in 2024, 3 have been previewed now. The Slaves to Darkness just previewed today. The 30k plastic melee weapons have been up on Warcom. The Stormcast Eternals were previewed ages ago, and still to be previewed, apparently there's a new narrative book coming for Age of Sigmar to round out 2024. And then of all the stuff for 2025, we had on the roadmap something major for Legion Imperialis. I guess having a new army Mechanicum qualifies as that. I've also just slotted in 40k Emperor's Children. It was previously like 40k something spicy for the Forces of Chaos, or whatever the wording was, but I've not coloured it in yellow because that doesn't count as a preview. That's a logo. I'll colour it in yellow when they show me like at least one miniature or a book cover or something, right? But that's where we stand with the previews. Looking at this, what do I see in the tea leaves? These 3 boxes, I actually think we're going to potentially get Brutal and Cunning coming out this year, which seems mental because we've just had Hivestorm in October, right? But I think that they're still okay. It's 2 things. It's fucking seasons versus fiscal quarters again. December is winter, and so I think that they were. I think that we're still on a season model, like with meteorological seasons. So without me putting the primary school graphic up again, I'm having flashbacks. I think that they want to do that. The reason I think that they're going to do that is because those 3 things in the no date given column, like, I can just see them in the little catalogue they produce at Christmas time. Those are things that you want somebody's gran to buy Johnny for Christmas, right? So I think they're going to come out early December. Maybe some of them will come out before then, but I think all 3 of those things and this is just speculation, but they just feel like Christmas offerings, don't they? Like, go and look at previous Christmas, things like Dungeon Bowl. Go and look at previous Christmas catalogues. I think now, they've not promised that, because I think they've put the slack in the system so they can miss, right? I think these are things they aspire to have out in time for Christmas, but realise they may not make it there, so they're in that thing where they haven't said either way. That's my current working hypothesis. Yeah. Final thoughts. Oh gosh, this Night Lord is still here. I've been very lazy and awful, but he's a cool picture. So, what are your thoughts on Kill Team Brutal and Cunning? Pretend this is an orc. Seriously. What are your thoughts on Kill Team Brutal and Cunning? How's your Warhammer day been? Right, I have tried to fill it with a lot of Warhammer. Tried to really buy into the made-up corporate holiday. Right. Does any of this other stuff, it's always, if everybody comments and says, oh yeah, the new Underworlds does look interesting, and then I definitely cover it, at least a couple of videos, let me know, right? Maybe you really like the look of the bland Chaos Sorcerer and you want to stand for it in the comments and be like, no, this Chaos Sorcerer is cool. The Warhammer Day one has too many cool fire bits. I for one hate painting cool fire, and I want my sorcerers to look more grounded in the mud. Let me know. Big thank you to all my members, subscribers, supporters, everyone that's ever sent me a single comment or good wish or message of support for this whole crazy tabletop impulse nonsense that I'm doing for some reason. Like, it's absorbing a lot of my time right now, and I should be painting Brood Brothers with that time. So, yes, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, click membership, give me all your money, just all of it. Just all of it, all at once, all at the same time. Go. Do. Alright, and with that plug out of the way, thanks everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you again on Sunday for either, I don't know, it'll either be a news article based on what goes up at 6 PM if they fix Sporcom, or maybe it'll be talking about my first game of Kill Team, maybe it's about building the Volcus terrain, maybe it'll be a faction rundown. I genuinely don't know at this point. But there'll be a video tomorrow. Enjoy that. Bye-bye, 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 goodbye.